So what I find particularly morally objectionable to this burqa is the dogma that there in that heat on the beach, that woman cannot remove her clothing even if she goes into the water.
You don't hear me defending the burqa.
No, I know. I'm not saying you are. I'm not strawmanning you. I really genuinely am not. What I'm saying is that there is a serious intellectual and moral distinction between the way advertising companies use men and women to sell a product, which isn't a dogma, it's a market-driven thing, and if the market changes, that will change, and a religious dogma that regardless of changes to the market, changes to the weather, changes to the country geography or anything, will stick to this one thing, and regardless of the suffering it causes. And that's why I've got a problem in particular. Other people call it brainwashing, but I'm going to say dogma is... I know because for once upon a time, when I was 16, subscribed to a dogma. It is terribly corrosive and corrupting of the human mind.
Okay. Wait. I want to just fix one thing that you've said about my position before Eric jumps in here.
You're right, okay. Yeah.
Okay. It is not the advertising of stuff with female bodies that's getting to me. It is the exploitation of insecurities. That the way advertising companies get you to buy stuff you would not otherwise buy is by making you insecure. And sexual insecurity in particular is, they are maiming the psychology of large numbers of people by exploiting these insecurities in this particular way. That's one of a dozen different critiques we could level at the way...
And I think that's bad, but I don't think it's the same. That's what
I'm not saying it's the same, but I'm saying we need to be honest about the fact that we have not solved the problem that the burqa solves, right? We have invited a different... The burqa causes a problem, it solves a second problem, and we have eliminated the one problem and traded it for a different one.
I guess all I'm saying is, because I'm in the middle of the trenches of this debate, what I don't want people to hear what you're saying you're not doing, but I fear that it could be heard in your words that there's a moral equivalence between the two, and there simply isn't.
Well, so but now we're having the same problem that we accuse the other side of. I mean, Bret is making a next level point, in my opinion, which some people will definitely misinterpret the first 3 times they hear it. But in part, one of the things that I didn't understand about multiculturalism is that we were never going to get multicultural. So those of you who have a phone where you can search, put in Zeki Müren in Turkey, and you will find that the national treasure singing sensation of Turkey is a guy who is gayer than Liberace, right? And it's very confusing. And then you can look up fatwas in Iran under the Ayatollah Khomeini allowing for sexual transition surgery, right? So if you actually look at the Islamic world, we are strawmanning the Islamic world in part. I'm not saying it does not have problems with homophobia. It absolutely does. What I am saying is that we did not even bother to learn all of the variants of Islam, all of the weird ways in which I cannot find a traditional society that does not make a place for non-binary individuals, right? In South Sulawesi, there are maybe 5 genders and they can become priests, whether you're talking about the Katuis in Thailand or the Hijras in India. Every single traditional society deals with homosexuality, deals with non-binary individuals, and there are things to exploit. You can ask yourself the question, hey, if you're cool with Zeki Müren in Turkey, how do we actually get that to work within the Islamic world that is now resident in the West? And so my concern about all of this is I don't know how to elevate the conversation and say, however much you were budgeting for this conversation, budget 10 times that. Because if we're not going to be able to live together harmoniously until we take an extraordinarily deep interest.
On that, just on the religious grounds for why Iran does that, and Pakistan has the same thing. They're called, so the hermaphrodites in Pakistan, there's actually, most weddings in the Punjab have them perform, and they're quite accepted and normal. Is the fatwas acknowledge where there is a biological hermaphrodite-like situation, and therefore why they say you can choose your gender, and you can even alter biologically undergo a sex change operation for the gender of your choice, because their starting point is God created you mixed, so that that's a dispensation. What they do not tolerate and do not allow, or what no fatwa allows in Iran or Pakistan or Saudi Arabia, is homosexuality. It's a different thing to.
That's why people were
to
offered
that.
sex changes in Iran if
Yeah.
they're found to be gay.
You
could either be hanged or you could have
so
a
that
sex
can
change.
become very sinister.
Yeah.
You know, so homosexuality is very different to the sex change operation fatwa.
Let's just go to. We're going to have to go to questions in just a moment. So if you didn't get to ask a question last time, then please push your way to the front of the queue, and you'll be able to ask it as well.